Hi, welcome to Soul Consciousness, where we talk about the truth and nothing but the soul truth. My name is Jessica May.
And I'm Kirsty Joyce from Lifting Consciousness.
And together we are going to bring through to you messages from Spirit, where we're getting to the core of the message. So what is it that Spirit want us to know? And this is all about the truth coming forward in pretty much everything we do. So, Kirsty, how's your week been this week?
Well, it has been rather tiring energetically, Jess, I will say that. There have been some sort of breakthroughs in terms of a situation or a cycle, should I say, that I'm needing to close out, that I am closing out, you'll be pleased to know. But this is coming up for a lot of people, I feel. So I've been going through that. We've had the new moon as well. And I think a lot of stuff is coming up to the surface for people. So how about yourself? What's it been like for you?
Wow, yeah, it's been a week of ups and downs. I think the energy, the weather, the new moon, it's been quite chaotic. And certainly over the past couple of days, a lot has come up to the surface work-wise for me as well. So I think this is a good opportunity to have a look at what the energy is wanting to tell us right now. What does the universe want us to know about all these truths that are coming to the surface?
Absolutely.
Because part of what I'm picking up on, and certainly in the readings I've done this week for people, it's all been about the divine feminine coming into her power. So therefore, any karmic cycles or any situations that she's not put that effort into breaking, or perhaps have gone, oh no, I'll leave it for now, I'll leave it. You know about that?
I do. I can resonate with that 100%. Yes.
It's all of a sudden gone, no, you're going to deal with it right now.
Yeah.
And this is what we need to look at, because it does feel like July is going to start shifting some major energies, especially as we go forward into autumn, which, as we know, autumn is a time of transformation within nature. So are we any different to that? Absolutely not, because we are part of nature. Mother Gaia does actually guide us. So the autumn months, I feel like August, September, perhaps even October, November, are going to start bringing in these shifts. And let's not forget, 2022 is the 6th year, the year of spiritual awakening and foundations.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would echo that. There does feel to be change in the air, or imminent change in the air. And absolutely right, being asked to stop procrastinating on things that we know within our soul truth that needs to end, the patterns that need to end, etc. So it can be very challenging. I've had to go through that myself, but these things are coming up to the surface to show us, really, and Neptune retrograde is supporting that. So anything that might have been an illusion, or what story do you keep telling yourself? That's what's been coming up for me in collective readings. What story do we keep telling ourselves? That will change, when actually it won't, and we're the ones that need to change through it. So yes, I echo what you're saying, Jess, and I think
absolutely, yeah,
it's time for that progression and further transformation, because we've already been in transformation, haven't we, really?
We have.
Yeah.
And there's also, I don't know if you've noticed this week in particular, energies that are building up and things happen. For example, objects flying across the room.
We just had that, didn't we? Yeah, we just had that. Yes, that has been happening. So it might be happening to our viewers as well. Yeah, heightened activity.
For us, it was a mobile phone just flew across the kitchen, and it was like, where did that just come from, and how?
Yes.
But we thought maybe that was to do with communication coming in, or some important communication because of the force that phone was through.
Yeah, it really did. If either of us had been standing there, it would have hit us. It was literally at a force. So yes, perhaps that communication. Now, it could be twin flame related. I know we're going to cover that as part of our topics that we're talking about on this channel. But it could just be general communication, or that communication coming in from spirit, your own intuition, what truth is coming in. Very powerful there, wasn't it?
Yeah, just a bit.
Fast communication.
Absolutely. Yeah. Knight of Swords energy straight in with it.
Yes, absolutely.
So, speaking of tarot, let's find out what the universe would like us to know, because of course we can tune in, but I think for our viewers it's quite good to see the tarot come out and just match with what we are picking up on, and it helps us to understand things a little bit more as well. It's a bit of a visual, isn't it?
It's a visual, and you know, we get the intuitive hits from it as well as messages from spirit in those moments. So of course, trusting and being open to that from the pure white light, of course. So I've got the Gilded Tarot Royale.
And I have got I can't remember what it's called.
Lightseer's Tarot.
Lightseer's Tarot.
One of my favourite. Yeah, one of my favourite decks actually. So yeah,
yes,
okay.
It's beautiful.
So we'll see what's coming through then. Okay, from a collective perspective, that rhymed. Maybe there's going to be some synchronicity because that was the collective perspective. I just felt like...
Yeah, quite possibly. And we've got, burning in the background, dragon's blood incense. And I have to say, the smoke that is coming off of that incense is quite insane. For one stick, there's like 3 layers coming up from there.
That's powerful in itself then, perhaps. The power of 3.
The power of 3.
Yeah, manifestations. One just flipped out for me as I was shuffling, and it's the 9 of Wands. Ooh. And that to me is almost like, and it's funny we were saying about communication, because that makes me think of the 8 of Wands when you see the kind of the wands or the arrows coming through. But 9 of Wands, of course, it's one before the 10 of Wands, which is that overburdened feeling of really needing to drop that weight, that energetic weight. This almost feels like a bit guarded. Maybe we're feeling a bit guarded to let our defences down when it comes to owning that truth of that which we need to put down from an energetic burden point of view.
Yes.
There's a bit of a maybe guardedness of, oh, I can't do that. I'm still holding on to it. I'm protecting it. There could be some of that.
Sounds like about right.
Yeah, it does. It does resonate. Yeah, completely. I'll see what else comes through, because that just literally flipped out.
See, I'm giving you good shuffles, and I've got 4 of Swords. So I feel that whatever's going on, it's almost like there is this big build-up of truth, of energy coming out. And all of a sudden, whatever's going on, whether it's a workplace, whether it's a friendship, it's almost like there's going to be closure with it. I feel like something will get closed down, like whether it's a negative situation or a workplace that's not authentic. It just feels like things are going to start coming to a close, and there's going to be a pause, maybe even investigations into things. So for me, looking at this right now, it just feels like this is a week, like a crescendo week. And we're not even at Sunday yet. You know, this is Saturday, the 2nd of July. So we've already gone into July with some thunderstorms, shall we say. And yeah, that tornado is going around. And I think next week, all that truth is going to be out, but people are going to have to stop and absorb what it is, because so much is coming out.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And interestingly, as Jess was talking there and I was still shuffling, another one flew out, but it landed right by your side. If you felt that, and it's the 8 of Cups in reverse, and I always do personally take reversals. So this is actually, the need to walk away from something that is not emotionally fulfilling you. So again, obviously having the 9 of Wands, maybe feeling a bit guarded and protecting ourselves. We don't want to do it, but this is saying from an emotional point of view, let's not forget we're in Cancer season. There is a need to walk away from anything that's not emotionally fulfilling, and anything coming to the surface, as Jess just mentioned, could then enable you to do that. But there's almost some fear around that at the moment because it's in reverse.
Yeah, and it's almost like getting the right timing to do it as well, because we might know that, for example, leaving a job, we might know that it's the right time to do it, but when is the right time to say, look, I actually need to go? Because we always worry about what other people think, what other people are going to feel.
Absolutely.
And so it's about getting that timing right for us, as much as it is for the world around us. We know now is the time for the opportune moments.
Yeah, definitely. And I think when we can tune in and really feel into it, we know. And for me, to use that personal example, something shifted within me, and it was clear to me then, this is the moment, you have to make this change now. So we will all feel it. I was just drawn to looking on the bottom of the deck, and we've got the Knight of Cups coming in with his or her cup of love. It's a movement card, of course, so hidden energy is there will be movement forward to that which is more emotionally fulfilling once we walk away from what isn't. So that's why the hidden energy was there, and I was drawn to looking.
Very interesting.
Yes.
I've got it where like loads of cards want to come out at the same time, and it's where you know the energy is very full on.
Yes, it is full on.
Because usually when you shuffle, you should just get like the one card come flying out. When you've got like loads of them wanting to come out, you're either not asking the question correctly, or energies are just getting ready to bubble up, and that's what it feels like. Here we go. What have we got coming in? So, yeah, see, 2 cards have just come out. 4 of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles. So both of these cards for me are about independence, especially with the 4 of Pentacles. What are we holding on to? But then what are we procrastinating about? Are we happy with everything that we've got in our lives? And I kind of feel like with the King of Pentacles, typically you would see him surrounded by all his riches, all his glory, and it's just like, but he's still not looking very happy. This guy's kind of looking happy in the card, but you can see he's actually procrastinating. He's thinking about stuff, and being that Virgo energy, that's going into the autumn season. Pentacles refer to autumn as well, that earthy energy. And this could actually be referring to other things worldly that are going on, where we've got to be a bit more cautious of what we spend, where we've got to be a bit more cautious about food shortages and things like that coming up. Yes. It kind of feels like, if you know that there's something within us all that we know something's not right at the moment. And I've been saying to people for a long time, add those extra tins of soup and bags of pasta and rice into your shopping. It may just have to be once a month or every other week, but make sure you're doing it and keeping a little store cupboard. Obviously check the dates on it, keep rotating it, but having those extra tins is going to be really vital and important. But also make sure that you're content with your energy and you're content with who you've got around you as well, because with the 4 of Pentacles, you're closing down your energy because you know something around you is not right. Maybe there's someone untrustworthy. Maybe you're feeling the world around you is not trustworthy anymore. And I think we've all felt a bit like that lately. Yes. We're being robbed every time we go to the petrol pump, basically. So we're thinking the world is taking a lot from us right now. And the King of Pentacles is trying to hold on to everything in his kingdom, but he's procrastinating a lot. Bottom of the deck, though, for me here is the Hierophant. And what have you got?
Which is the Hierophant on here, but of course, 2 separate decks, so different imagery there. There's almost, with the Lightseer's Tarot, that's very awakening, isn't it?
It is.
That enlightenment coming in.
Yeah.
This is kind of those traditional values. So perhaps, again, when you're walking away from what's not serving you, you might have to break away from some traditions that other people might be holding on for you that doesn't align with your truth. But very interesting that we had the 2, and of course they're both 5, aren't they? So 5 changes are coming. And conflicts as well.
I usually see those 5s though as conflicts within ourselves, because it is a challenging time to think we've got to make changes in our own lives. Yeah. It's all very well, we can tell other people to do it. Perhaps we need to start listening to our own advice.
Yes. For a while I've needed to do that, yes, because it's so much easier giving advice to other people. But actually turning that kind of light back on my own situation, we're always evolving, aren't we? We're always evolving, and certainly I think when you ascend more, you then recognise the gap almost between your higher self and that inner child that's within. That gap becomes bigger, and it becomes more of an emotional pull back to I don't know, the nostalgia of holding on to something that's not serving us because we think it is when it's not. So yeah, it can be that challenge with him. Definitely. And expressing that as well, because I felt that in my throat chakra just at that moment. But yeah, for sure.
It is about standing authentic as well with the throat chakra. Mine's tightening up. But it is, and it's like, if we're not authentic in our energies and everything we do, then we are going to come into conflict with those around us. We're going to come into conflict with ourselves, because we're going to be battling our own emotions all the time. And when that's coming up to the surface, as well as like the world around us pressurizing us, then we start coming into our own personal crisis. And we have to make changes at that point. And I think the way everything's gone this particular week, especially with the new moon we've just had, it's kind of made everything go, look, it's there in your face. Make a change. Do something about this.
Definitely.
And we can't wait any longer, I think, is what what the universe is trying to say.
Getting in touch with our emotions also in doing that. I know that's come up quite a bit through the cards that came out of this deck, but just because I can resonate with that as well, and the Cancerian energy. I mean, I'm a Pisces, so I'm a water sign as well, so it's particularly pertinent for me. But Cancer energy, allowing it to flow, but also being true to your emotions, echoing what Jess says about your authentic self. There's a need to be true to your authentic self and the emotions within, because when we go against that, it can have a ripple effect on stuff that's going on. So I mean, I'm wearing birds today to just, emanate out that frequency of freedom and being yourself, being your true self.
That's a good point, because this particular week, freedom has been taken from a lot of women in America.
Yes.
With the new abortion law. And that was something we were talking about earlier, actually, wasn't it? Where do we stop when we say my body, my rules?
Yes.
Because of something else that was going on last year. It was, everyone had to have it in some countries and nobody got a choice. But now those same leaders that implemented that, and I said, women should have choice over their bodies. It's really inhumane. But was it not inhumane to mandate this?
In my opinion, it absolutely was and still is. And, I find it very difficult to almost resonate with people that could be really, really pro-choice for one thing and anti-choice for the other, when it's the same thing. It's different things. One's abortion and one's putting something into yourself. Obviously, we can't say the word, obviously, because of shadow banning. That's how it is in our community, which is sad, but that is the truth. And
that's how you know you're on the truth when you get shadow banned.
Definitely. So somebody that would be very pro that and anti that doesn't work for me, because it's a different thing, but it's the same thing, because it's still the person's body and it's still the person's choice. So there might be people waking up to that fact because of this that's going on, because, I don't agree with that. And then you might think about the other thing that we're talking about. I did agree with that, but actually maybe there's some similarity there, because it's all about the person's body and their choice. And yes, unfortunately, there were some a year and a half ago that didn't have a choice, and that was just awful for those of us that resonate with that, to think that somebody's freedom of choice and even freedom of expression was taken away from them. It's been a long battle so far, but I
think it's been just absolutely despicable what we've seen over the past year. The way we've gone through divide, the way we've been played by governments. And to those of us that are awake and are tapped into our soul, we know this whole thing has been a charade. We know we've been laughed at from a great height. And it's only a small few that have actually implemented all of this on like, let's say 95% of the population. It's only like a small percent that actually do rule the world.
Yeah.
And we're afraid of them. You know, they've put us into fear. They've controlled us for about a good 2, almost 3 years. Oh, it's been going on a lot longer than that. But certainly we've seen it play out. And now when people are getting serious, life-threatening illnesses from this, we're not allowed to talk about it. And nobody's questioning the fact, why are so many ambulances being heard? Why are so many people having heart attacks? We're not allowed to talk about it. We're not allowed to question it because it's now a normal part of society.
Yeah.
As is anyone on the Maxwell list.
Yeah.
They're a normal part of society because we're not allowed to know.
Exactly. And going back to the illnesses that you mentioned because of the certain thing, the fact that things are happening suddenly as well, I think that it's a worrying thing, and there's more of it, and certainly there's more being spoken about on social media in so much as we can, because obviously we can't say a lot on there, but I've noticed it more where people have actually been coming forward and saying, this isn't right, why is this happening, and actually questioning those mandates that were brought up for no other reason other than to segregate and cause division. And it's worked in some cases. I mean, I've lost friends, I've lost family members who didn't agree with my choice, my body, my choice, and I've had to sort of, let that go because I'm staying in my truth with it. I can respect their choice, but there was no respect on my side for my choice, and it's caused that division, and that's what they wanted to achieve from it. So we all need to come together, really, don't we? And the world needs to wake up to this, really.
And I think for me, it was being laughed at when I was talking about the fact that the shedding process was happening.
Yeah.
Because I've never had 3 periods in 1 month.
Yeah.
And I was getting 3 periods in 1 month just by being around people that had been recently.
Yes.
And it just, to me, it wasn't right. So even now, if somebody has had it recently, I can't be near them for a good while after, at least 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And people will laugh. They go, oh, it's conspiracy. It's not, because I know my body, that doesn't happen normally. And also it's things like I've known people to get urine infections as well.
Yeah.
I know I certainly get stomach cramps and issues with my gut to the point it makes me want to throw up.
Yeah, and I've not had it as bad as that, and my menstrual cycle luckily wasn't affected. However, I was getting absolutely fatigued being around those that had it when it all came out, and then the booster this, booster that. I was definitely having an effect, and it was affecting in some ways my third eye as well. Being around, so that to me just tells me there's something not so good in that to be affecting us who are spiritual, who are connected to the divine. This is in my opinion, and maybe it's controversial, it's a way of interfering with that connection.
I would totally agree with that, because I do Reiki, and a few of my clients who are also Reiki masters have come to me feeling quite suicidal, actually, because they can no longer connect to their third eye, to their intuition, to their power, because they feel it's basically closed them down. And when I've gone into their energy, things have happened. I've been scratched really badly on the hand by someone's energy before. I've seen stuff coming off of people. Their auras are grey, or there's been stuff in the aura that you just think that shouldn't even be there. Heart chakra has been closed down, or the soul has been kind of disengaged from the body, and people feel disconnected, and you think, well, no wonder you feel disconnected, no wonder you feel sad when you can't connect like that. So on a spiritual level, this is what it's done to people. If you're not spiritual, obviously you're not going to understand what we're saying with that. But when you are spiritual and you can see, and let's face it, if you all tuned in, you could see it as well. We're not special just because we can do readings and stuff. Anyone can do this. But the point is, they've tried to close that down and not give you the choice by putting that into you.
Yes.
So I for one don't feel it's a good thing, especially when I've had a client send me a photo of her phone stuck to her arm. That's after one.
Yes.
She's like, is this normal? I'm like, no, it's
No.
really not.
It's really not, no. And I mean, this whole kind of period, it's pivotal. I mean, we're here on Earth at this time as light workers in a really pivotal moment, and it's challenging, isn't it? It has been challenging because of all of this. But again, the light will win, the light will prevail. But it's just... It's trying to get the message out there without offending people, because of course, again, it's my body, my choice. So there will be people that have chosen that way, but perhaps chosen out of fear because of what the media was saying and all of this. And now the data has come out to show the reality, or is starting to show the reality of it. And, you know, who knows whether it's actually helping or not. I'm not a scientist, but I would just know from a divine perspective that to me it's not right. That's how it feels, and I've got to remain in my truth about that. But the awakening, I think that great awakening that you probably hear being talked about is actually happening, because people are waking up to this. And there will be those that have had that and they kind of regret it because they didn't realise it was maybe, oh, well, I thought I was doing the right thing and I didn't really want it. And they've managed to almost get back on track from a spiritual point of view.
Yeah.
And they are doing the necessary kind of like inner healing work, and they're getting through it. And it's, but I'm afraid to say that there are a lot that will just follow. It's that herd mentality.
It is.
Dare I say it? You know, and I'm not trying to be unkind or dismissive, because people have a choice. People have a choice, and I will always stand by that. So I've never been saying absolutely don't do it because it's someone's choice. I would just say, look, you know, do you know much about it? Why are you doing it? And questioning that way.
But it's always that little quote that they say, I've had the C, but it would have been so much worse if I hadn't had the
thing.
And you think, how do you know that?
You don't know, and the data is showing that there are more people that have had it, that have been hospitalised and sadly have passed away.
Yeah.
And that's the data. That is, you can go and look at that online. We're not just saying it.
It's on the government website.
That's the data, and the reports are coming out to confirm all of this. And you know, I wouldn't want anyone to be thinking, oh my goodness, I've had it and I'm really worried, because you know, you've got to remain in your truth with it. And if the reasons that you had it was the best intentions for yourself, you know, then that's you're aligned with your truth in that. But anybody that's almost been manipulated by them, in the best way of saying it, then that's where, you know, these things are coming up now to almost show you. Again, Neptune retrograde. Neptune rules the media. So, okay, we might have some crazy stories coming up in the media, but it might also be showing you, when you watch the media, how crazy some of it is, to be honest.
And this is the thing as well, like, I don't watch the news. So the other day when I was working uptown in the shop, I suddenly seen people wearing masks, and I made the comment, I was like, there's loads of people wearing masks again. And then they were like, oh, have you not seen the news? It's all over the news, it's back. And I'm like, no, I don't watch the news. Oh, aren't you scared? No. No. And this is the thing, we've just got to move forwards now. And we can pull some cards on this. What do we need to know about this whole situation?
Okay, let's pull some cards on this.
Because it is a big thing, and I think the media is going to come up with some atrocious stories. I mean, what, polio?
Monkeypox.
Yeah, just to scare parents into making their kids have MMR. when, let's face it, MMR is not safe, and that's been proven.
It really upsets me, actually, the fact that they're willing to do that, not knowing the effects.
Yeah.
Well, seeing the effects of what's happening in plain sight, but then still willing to put it into a child who doesn't have a say in whether it goes into their body or not. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting.
8 of Cups.
Okay.
We've got to move on. We've got to walk away from all of the, I want to say media hysteria, but that's me putting it politely. I was getting a certain type of show being put out there to the world. It is like a clown show. The world is a circus, and we can't take anything we're seeing on the media serious because it's all being set up.
Absolutely. Now, you've got one there that popped out. I didn't know if it was one of mine or, I think they were from before, weren't they?
They were from before.
I had a few pop out. So I've actually got Ace of Wands reverse, Temperance, which is, of course, Major Arcana energy, and 4 of Cups reverse. And what I'm immediately thinking about this, I mean, that reminds me of something, actually, that we're just talking about. But when you think of the 4 of Cups, and it's almost that cup from the divine, are you going to take that cup, or are you not interested in that cup? Now, in reverse, to me, because of the topic that we're talking about, it's almost saying be careful what you're accepting and what actually is from the divine and what isn't from the divine, and use your discernment, use your, that fire within and that light within to actually use your discernment to know if it's from the divine or not, because there's certainly a lot at the moment that is not from the divine. Now, Temperance is in the middle. That's kind of blending, that's balance. This is not balanced.
Because it's water and fire.
Yeah, it's not a balanced situation that we're in at the moment. But I go back to that cup, the cup from the divine. There are opportunities ahead of all of us if we open our eyes to them and we take our blinkers off when it comes to what is actually an illusion, what's not from the divine. What are you being handed or offered that is not of the divine? But use your discernment. Nobody else's. Don't let someone tell you, don't let us sit here and say, this is what we're feeling, and, use your discernment. But ultimately, with the Magician on the bottom, you can manifest the reality.
And you can be master of your destiny.
Yeah.
Not Boris, not any other leader, not the media.
Yeah.
You.
It comes from within. Yeah, absolutely. You've got all the tools within your spiritual toolkit, and use it wisely. Yes, and through your authenticity. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I think that's kind of almost brought it to a bit of a close, hasn't it? And I know it's our first sort of soul session on our channel on YouTube and everything. So we will be continuing to do sessions, and we will of course be diving into twin flames, because that's something that a lot of people want to know about. And I'm kind of drawn to covering about toxic femininity that we've spoken about before. I can't utter that person's name, but if I was to say, actually no, I can't even explain this person apart from just saying the defendant. And those of you that resonate might know, but a very well publicised trial that's happened recently, and this person is still displaying toxic femininity and narcissistic traits, and I just think that's something that is going on, unfortunately.
You gotta feel sorry for her. Her dog stepped on a bee after all.
True. So if you know who we're talking about, stay tuned, because we will be doing a session about that. Maybe a short session on that, because it will just it would probably just wind me up. But it is definitely something that needs to be talked about. And I'm sure a lot of you might have experienced that as well, in one way, shape or form.
But again, that's going back to part of all of that elite show as well, because whilst that's being shown, obviously the most important trial and information is not available. So that's definitely something worth looking into next time.
Yes, absolutely. Sure. Yeah, so join us for more, and we'd love to hear from you. So please feel free to add a comment. If there's anything you'd like us to talk about, we could go deep into the soul truth on, then just let us know. Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
So thank you for watching Soul Consciousness. Take care and have an amazing week.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.